Hello everyone, I'm Lex Chase, and Mackie decided to have me back here on Sinfully Sexy Book Reviews to talk about my new release, Americana Fairytale, Book 1 of Fairy Tales of the Open Road. A little bit about it to explain is it is the modern day fractured fairy tale urban fantasy between a fairy tale princess that happens to be a guy, and he is on a insane road trip quest through roadside Americana alongside a dirty, nasty Creole huntsman out of New Orleans. And they're rounded out by the princess's fuck-up fairy godfather, who looks like Jeff Bridges out of Big Lebowski with big pink butterfly wings. It's awesome. So, let's see, that about covers everything. And so we're going to do a little Q&A, and off we go. Okay, here we go. Very first question. Mackie asks very simply and normally, where did I get this idea for like a modern fairy tale and a dude princess? So one of my things is I'm a big fan of the Broadway show Into the Woods. I flip and love it. The short version is you take a bunch of modern fairy tale characters, shove them in a room, and see who will be left alive. So Disney is actually finally making a movie of it, and I've been waiting 20 years for this movie, and I'm so excited, and I'm probably the percentage much of the world that know what this thing is, and it's fantastic, and you should also see it. Of course, it's now Disney-fied, which, oops, let's just say, yeah. Anyway, so I kind of got this idea to take the fairy tale characters and shove them into the modern world to see what would happen. The princess and prince idea is, in the story, is you have male princesses, they happen, and female princes. Okay, so it's very, very simple. The way I explain it is these fairy tale characters, like, Snow White and Cinderella and Rapunzel and, Little Mermaid and on and on and on, they were once women, but, they married their prince and so on and so forth, and they had babies, and some were boys and some were girls, and, on and on. And essentially your title as a princess or a prince is inherited, and you learn that once the princess or prince has a child, they have magical abilities, and essentially the parents, their magic ends up going dormant, and basically the child comes into full power. So they still have their abilities, but they still have their title, but they have their abilities. So so the whole, in the story, the male princess aspect and the female prince is kind of something that's been happening in their world in the last 60-70 years or so, or so they think. And it's kind of more like a scandalous embarrassment, and of course it's gaining more acceptance because it is what it is, but it's still kind of, you get the older generation that's like, oh my, and everything. And my idea for Taylor and his brother was, I'm really in love with characters that are looking for their place in the world, or kind of a misfit and don't really fit in, and don't really know what their goal in life really is, and kind of just looking for their way, kind of thing. And Taylor is that person. Taylor is a princess, and regrettably, he's quite embarrassed about it. He doesn't know what princess he is, and he's that misfit of the enchant world. He doesn't really know where he fits in. And in this world, you have the fairy tale characters, the enchants, and you have the humans, which they call mundanes, and they live side by side, but they don't really expose themselves. Like, they're your best buddies, but you don't let anybody know that, you're magical. But, and Taylor is, he's kind of more human than he is a princess or an enchant, because, he has no magic. He doesn't know where he belongs, and essentially it's his story of finding where he belongs in the world, and if he's really meant to kick ass, or if he's, just a nobody. And on the flip side, you have his brother, Atticus, who is the practically perfect brother in every single way. He ends up, they know right off the bat, he's Snow White. And in this world, that is a very fucking big deal. Like, it's the highest of all princesses. And basically, people will go at great lengths to do things for or do things against his brother. So that's kind of the idea, and I hope I didn't talk too long, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay. Okay, so here we are for question number 2. So Mackie asks, flat out, will I ever write a contemporary? Because I write only fantasy stuff. Long suffering sigh. So I'm gonna be real a minute. I am awful at writing contemporary, like fucking terrible. Because, I write these fantasy settings and then I put in these semi-realistic relationships. And then I take a real-world setting and put in these realistic relationships in them, and I realize, what the fuck am I doing? Because that's stupid, sort of thing. And, you can go outside and see that yourself, sort of thing. I didn't realize it's the other way around, is you have this realistic, no magic setting, and then you put in a fantasy relationship. I didn't know that's how that works, and it really seems kind of weird still. So, I am still kind of working around it a little bit and turning it over in my head. It's because I'm an action adventure writer at my core, and, so I'm kind of like trying to like do stuff more in my lane about that. Kind of like I'm a big fan of, Indiana Jones and Bourne Identity and Mission Impossible and stuff like that. And, I admit it, I really love Scandal. I love Scandal. And, I'm really excited to see the new Sean DeCoster show, How to Get Away with Murder. And, Grey's Anatomy, because it's like, Grey's Anatomy is the girlfriend you cannot break up with. She's like the psycho girlfriend saying, I'm sorry, come back. And it's like, no. But, yeah, things like that. Person of Interest is a really great one. And such like that. But I still kind of like sci-fi-ish shows. The Blacklist. Oh my god, that's such a good show. But yeah, kind of stuff in that zone, in that vein, X-Files, things like that. So watch this space. Something might happen, and it'll be exciting. So yeah, who knows? Gay Indiana Jones. You know you want one. Dibs. La, la. Okay, so here we are. Question number 3. So Mackie asks, she goes, you've done superheroes, shifters and vamps, now fairy tales. What else from the world of the fantastical is swirling around the quirky mind of Lex Chase? Well, hold on to your butts here. So one of the books I'm planning for 2015, which probably won't be published till 2016, is a book series deciding is a thing called Grow. How to explain it? I actually have under the table sneaky swag of Grow for 25th for this year's GRL. Of course, once I hand it out, that means it's going to happen. So yeah. Best way to explain Grow in very short is it's life after people with people. If you know what that is, you're my buddy. It is basically, it's so far in the future that, nature has reclaimed the earth. People have ceased to be as we know them. Turns out over the time humans have re-evolved. Only they're not really human. They are actually humanoid, look like you or me, but they're plants. They're flowers. And, it's this whole new society where, our history is their ancient history, and our ancient history is lost to them. So it's things like they don't have technology, and all art and books and music and stuff like that is outlawed. They can't use any of those things. And we have our main character, Iris, who's a dude, and he is, of course, the flower of inspiration. Guess what he does? So yeah, and he happens to have books, and little golden books on ABCs and Scientific Americans and National Geographic and it's at what's the other one? Rolling Stone, and and Ziploc bags, and very interesting little trinkets here and there. He even has a Walkman with batteries, Duracells, and yeah. So for him to have these things is very, very, very bad, and he shouldn't have these things, and if he does, he'll be an outsider and banished and stuff like that. So that's his little story, and it's kind of fun. And his love interest is a dude named Kudzu. If you're anywhere in the U.S. South, you know exactly what kudzu is. It is a weed, very aggressive plant that grows about a foot a day and strangles the life out of plant life all around it. So guess what kudzu does? He's very abrasive and very brash, and yeah, will strangle the life out of you. So it's a lot of fun. Anyway, let's grow, and it is coming to your face. So yeah. Sunny days, chasing the clouds away. Okay, we're back. Sorry. I got confused. Okay. This is question number 4. So, Mackie asks, is the cover to Americana Fairytale is fabulous. Thank you. It is really funky and retro. I know, right? How important is to get the cover right to you as an author? Yeah. So to take it by the numbers kind of thing is it is super crucial to me, actually. I used to be a graphic designer, and I used to draw comics and for a living and whatnot and stuff like that. And in my day, I've designed a few covers, and it's the wrapper. It's essentially the thing you see on the shelf that draws you in. And of course, my thing, you want the book to be representative, the cover to be representative of what you'll find inside. I'm not a big fan of covers that show a moment from the book, because those are kind of like, I have no context to what's going on here. Like, it doesn't have the significance it does, that it should. I'm also a big fan of covers that you can take on the subway. Of course, you have Subway, but a Subway, and kind of not get shit for it. Because, really, not a lot of people actually read, like, romance novels with the swooning gentlemen or swooning ladies on the subway with the paperback. I mean, unless they're reading on their e-reader. Here's the thing about e-readers is, people say, oh, I don't shop by the cover anymore because you can't see it on your e-reader. That's crap. It's more, e-readers are more of, as it said, a privacy thing, because you can read whatever you want on it and not have someone hassle you. So there's that, but you still buy it by the cover. You do. So, there's that. And for me, is the Americana Fairytale series. I can go on about my previous series, but for Americana Fairytale in particular, is, it's Americana. And the book is really absurd in a lot of ways. I mean, it's really emotional and it's really tender. But the adventure itself is really absurd. So I kind of wanted to draw on that nostalgia and the Route 66 feel and the, kind of warm, fuzzy greetings from Florida or greetings from Arkansas kind of thing. I was really inspired by the old postcards, vintage postcards, which I love. And I originally, for the Americana Fairytale, I wanted the word fairy tale to have the locations of the book inside those letters, but we realized it was a legal issue, so because some of them are really operating businesses. But I love how it came out. Actually, is in all things, I got a batch of the postcards, the fronts, made them into legit mailing postcards that you can mail, obviously. And when I go to GRL this year, I'm gonna have a stack of them with me. And I'm going to write one to myself and send it to my house. And it's going to be pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to people picking them up and checking them out. One of the things I really wanted to go on the book, like, so bad, in those little location lettering, whatever it was. This little girl here, I actually have a plushie of her from the actual gift shop of the location, is this little girl here. I don't know if you can make her out, but this is Lucy the elephant of Margate, New Jersey. She is a 6-story tall elephant of anthropomorphic architecture, or zoomorphic architecture. And you can go up inside her, and it's a little museum, and it's fantastic. And actually, she was damaged in Hurricane Sandy. A little bit of her tail got chipped off, but she survived the trip. One of the fascinating things about Lucy is if you go on Google Street View, you will actually see her. If you turn her around, if I can show it to you in the camera, yes, she totally has a little window in her butt where, yeah, her business would be. And I love it because when they're talking about her on the gift shop is, yes, she's accurate with a window on her butt. And I'm like, this is mine. So this little girl is $12.99 from the Lucy the Elephant gift shop. And when I got the contract, I was like, I need this little girl in my life. Isn't she awesome? She might go to Giro with me, but she might not make it home. And she has a tongue and everything. Yeah, I can go on for hours. So, yeah, and I guess that's about it. So I hope people enjoy the cover. I really love it, and people seem to be reacting well to it. So, and this is the longest question ever because I babble forever. So, and that about covers it. Next up, we have a reading. Awesome!